Hey, it's Derek. All right, I'm on my cell phone because I could not figure out how to get the other live thing to actually work. Now I'm live. Now I'm here. And for those of you who are missing this live video, if you have questions, you can post it below on the video and I will answer it at some future date. I don't know what to tell you. Anyway, there you have it. So, I have some things about the Better Off Med to tell you right at the beginning, and then we'll go down like point by point along the way, and then at the end, if you have questions, you'll see below. All right, so the first things, this is the most important thing. I'm going to try to make this video as short and sweet as possible. Okay, so first thing, check the Better Off Med page at derekandromaine.com. I recently updated it. It has new information there. So any questions, links for things that are discussed in this video, you'll be able to find right there. Anything else, just look there first before you email us, because almost all the information, all the questions that we can answer will be listed there at the Better Off Med page. Just scroll down, don't email me later and tell me you can't find it, and it's there. It'll be after the video about the Love Cruise, so look for it there. Okay, so first thing first, go to the Better Off Med page at derekandromaine.com. There is more information there under the cruise. Okay, second, add yourself to the Better Off Med event that we have on Facebook. You can find the link on our Derek and Romaine fan page. That's not the group, fan page. And then also in the DNR Cruises group, there's a link in there. And when you add yourself in there, that's a great place to coordinate with other people for other travel and other things, because the cruises group can get messy with other people posting other crap. So if you want specific things about Better Off Med, post it there in the event group on Facebook. Okay, third, we can offer you some helpful guidance and everything on this trip, but this is your vacation. We assume that everybody who books with us is a grown adult person who can figure out how to get themselves to the airport in the morning and can book a hotel room and all those kinds of things. So we do have our outside travel partners who can help you with airfare and trains and hotels, that kind of thing. Norwegian for things that are related specifically to the ship, like booking premium dining or questions about ports and that kind of thing. NCL.com has all that kind of information. So if it's specifically related to the ship, NCL.com is a great resource that has lots of stuff. Smoochie D says that the travel partners are amazing. She recommends them. It certainly is a helpful resource for other advice. Okay. But there's only so much that we can do. So we assume you're grown adult people. My recommendation is that you make your own door-to-door itinerary for yourself. I know a lot of people are nervous about going to Europe. And so if you are nervous about like, how are you going to get from place to place, make yourself an itinerary starting from when you leave the house in the morning to how you're getting to the airport, when your plane lands, how you're getting from the airport to your next destination. Work out all of the steps for yourself before you leave and investigate your various options, especially for like transfers from airports to hotels and that kind of thing. Because in some places, a train might be convenient or a group shuttle or a taxi. So explore all of your options and what the cost is. If you can prepay for things before you go, you might find that helpful. Make sure you print out your receipts for anything you prepay for before you get there, including things like your shore excursions and that kind of thing. All right. Larry says I look good. Thanks, Larry. All right. Fourth, there is still some space available on the ship, especially for studio cabins. We have about 40 studio cabins booked, but if you have friends who are jealous about your Europe trip and they want to go, we can accommodate some last-minute bookings. And then finally, upgrades. Many of you have gotten emails from NCL about the potential of upgrading from, say, an inside cabin to a balcony, that kind of thing. If you want to do that, that's all through NCL. You don't have to contact me about it. If you get your upgrade, they will let you know. I will also get an email from NCL if you're awarded an upgrade, but it doesn't matter to us. So if that's what you want to do, you want to upgrade, bid whatever you feel comfortable with. Other listeners have successfully bid on upgrades and gotten them. And if you post in the Derek and Romaine Cruises group about it, you'll see some listeners there who have done that. Okay, let's get into the details of the Better Off Med cruise. Smoochie D wanted to know how many people we have. We have about 140 people who are in our group who are sailing with us. So we have a pretty good sized group, but obviously we don't have thousands of people. So, for instance, with some shore excursions, they may not actually fill, depending on what they are, but we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, first, before you sail, merchandise. Romaine extended the Light Up the Night shirts until Sunday, tomorrow, at noon Eastern time. So if you want a Better Off Med Light Up the Night shirt, order it at derekandromaine.com in the shop by noon tomorrow. This is a drop dead deadline because we have to custom order them and then get them shipped. They will ship with your packet, which will go out on July 1st. So if you want to get a light up shirt, you don't have to get a light up shirt through us, but if you want one, they're pretty cool and you can order them at derekandromaine.com. While you're there, there are other Better Off Med shirts. I'm wearing my Bless This Mex shirt from our Hot Mex cruise. I love this one. We have some great shirts for Better Off Med. You don't need a DNR cruise shirt, but they are kind of a fun keepsake, and it's a great way to connect with the other listeners and see each other while you're on board. The ordering for other merchandise, like the cruise survival kit or the passport book, or other Better Off Med shirts and everything, is June 20th if you want to make sure that you get it in time to leave. So make sure you do that at derekandromaine.com. It's all in the shop. There are also links on the Better Off Med page. Okay, itinerary. The itinerary is available now. It is subject to change without notice, and we'll go over the itinerary at Coffee Clatch on the ship. But if you would like the itinerary in advance, there is a link to download it on the Better Off Med page. You can also find it in the DNR Cruises Facebook group, and it will be mailed to you in the packet that will go out on July 1st. And then we'll go over a bit of the itinerary in a second. The online check-in, be sure to do that as soon as possible at ncl.com. Especially make sure that your legal name that is in your reservation matches your name that is on your passport, because that will be very important. You don't want to have any issues when you're checking in. If your passport doesn't say junior, but your reservation does, as long as your birth date matches, it probably will not be an issue. But if there are things like that, let me know. You can email me, Derek@ericandromaine.com, because you can't change things like your name inside your reservation, but you can update things like your mailing address and that kind of thing. Okay. With the online check-in, you can also do other reservations on the ship for dining or shows, that kind of thing. Look at the itinerary. We have group dinners on the first 2 nights and then on Friday night, I believe. And then the other nights, you can make your own plans for dinner. You can do all of that online. Keep in mind, they only make a limited number of reservations for shows and premium dining available online beforehand. So just because something is sold out online beforehand, don't email us about it. They will have more space available once you get on the ship. So don't worry about it if 7 p.m. at Moderno on Wednesday is sold out. It doesn't mean that you won't be able to book it on the ship. Okay, let's keep moving. DNR Travel, our DNR Travel partners, they can help you, as I had mentioned before, with airfare, hotel, train tickets, and that kind of thing. So feel free to utilize them. Our recommended hotel in Barcelona is the Axel Hotel. We don't have a group block or a special group rate because it's a small boutique hotel, but you can book it through our travel partner, or you can book it on your own if you prefer. Make sure you book the correct Axel Hotel. There are 2 of them in Barcelona. The one we are staying at is the gay-friendly Axel Hotel, so make sure you're booking the correct one because somebody already booked the wrong one. Okay, in Barcelona, Short Trips has a full day excursion that they have added. So if you would like to explore Barcelona, it takes you to a couple of museums, takes you around Barcelona. You get a local lunch. In previous Short Trips, people have really enjoyed the local food that they have offered up. So Short Trips has a great reputation, especially for that kind of thing. I know sometimes you're like, do I really want to go with like the group excursion, whatever, and have that lunch? Shouldn't I explore my own? They actually find pretty good local food. So if you really want sort of a taste of Barcelona, you can sign up for that. We have plenty of people on that excursion, so you shouldn't have any issues there. Smoochie D says something about for the hotel. I don't know what that is. Okay, we'll have to keep moving. We will have, they also have a flamenco show and dinner. You can do just the flamenco show or the flamenco show and dinner on Saturday night. We're recommending the 7 p.m. Time. It's a 3-hour thing, so it'll be done around 10-ish, I guess. And then you can head over to the Axel Hotel. Starting at 9:30, our listeners will be at the Sky Bar at the Axel Hotel. It's their rooftop bar. It has a beautiful view of Barcelona. And again, it's a gay-friendly hotel. So if you're straight, you can stay there. It'll be fine. It should not be too freaky for you. But that'll be fun on Saturday night at the Sky Bar starting at 9:30. So you could do the 7 p.m. flamenco show and dinner, head on over to our hotel, and then head up to the Sky Bar afterward. I don't think it's going to be a super late night, but Romaine and I will be there, and you can say hi and see other listeners before we sail away. That information is on shoretrips.com for the flamenco show and the full day in Barcelona. Okay, the next day, going to the ship, we do not currently have transportation scheduled from the hotel to the cruise ship. Short Trips is working on something. If they don't get something together by July 1st, Romaine and I will put something together with a local travel partner, or we will let you know what the recommendation is from getting to the hotel to the boat. Also, in Barcelona, I put a link on the Better Off Med page to a tourist guide to transportation, local transportation in Barcelona for shared shuttles, for local trains, for taxis. There's an app called Cabify that is Spain's version of Lyft. Lyft is one of the investors in it, so if you're that kind of an app person, you can do that. One of our listeners, Donna, recommends this EasyJet Speedy Shuttle as a group shuttle. It's like an airporter kind of a shuttle that comes out of the Barcelona airport that can take you to the hotel. But all those transportation options are on a link on the Better Off Med page. Check those out. There is a train that goes from the airport to the center of Barcelona. Our hotel is about a mile away. It's a 24-minute walk if you are light on luggage like me and you don't mind the walk. But for the rest of you, it should be a fairly easy taxi ride away, and you can go just right outside. There'll be taxis and you'll be able to hop into a taxi. The Better Off Med page is on derekandromaine.com. So the page that has the information about the cruise, I update it whenever there is new information. So your first stop for any information about an upcoming cruise is the original information page about the cruise at derekandromaine.com. Click on DNR Cruises and then click on the Better Off Med link and then scroll down underneath the video and the how to book information. You'll find the specific information about local transportation, shore excursions, that kind of thing. Okay. So as soon as we have information for getting to the hotel, to the boat, I will let you all know. Okay, now on the ship, we will not be passing out packets for those of you who have been on our cruises before. There will not be a packet distribution on the ship. We have our welcome event at the Bliss. Your packet is mailed to you before you get on the boat. So your name tag, your lanyard, your light up the night shirt, all of your stuff will be sent to you beforehand. And so if you leave them at home, you will not have a name tag, you will not have whatever. So make sure you pack those things before you leave. They'll be arriving in the mail in plenty of time to get them before we go. Okay. Afternoon games. We are going to do afternoon games on this cruise. If you would like to be a game master, bring your own favorite game. I mean, we recommend something small like a card game. Coordinate with Romaine beforehand. We don't want to have a ton of game masters, but there are people who have particular games that they enjoy playing and they wouldn't mind being a game master on the ship for things like Cards Against Humanity or Secret Hitler, that kind of thing. Something that will not be too cumbersome in your bag, but you can bring along and make sure that it gets played at afternoon games. Coordinate that with Romaine. We will have some other games that we'll be bringing along, but if you would like to also bring a game, coordinate with Romaine. Okay. Also, for solo travelers, we have some solo meetups. We have a high number of solo travelers on this cruise. So if you are traveling alone, don't worry. There are many other people like you on the ship. We have a couple of solo meetups inside the studio lounge for people who are in the studios. Also, you can drop by the first timers Q&A which will be in the Bliss Lounge before we set sail on the very first day. And I will help solo travelers meet other solo travelers. But there are a lot of them. So if you're thinking about booking excursions with a group or that kind of thing, don't worry if you're a solo traveler. We got a lot of solo travelers who will be doing other excursions and other activities. You will have lots of opportunities to meet other solo travelers and hang out and all that kind of stuff. We will help facilitate that. On the excursion, you'll notice, especially midweek. Hi, Steve. Okay. You'll notice midweek on the ship, we do not have a lot of events. It's because the shore excursion days will be long. People are going to come back to the ship after a 9-hour excursion. They're going to want to eat something fast and go to sleep. If you are a party animal, you want to find people to hang out with, we recommend the Friends of Dorothy meetup that you'll see on the ship. It'll be in your Norwegian, the daily newsletter that's delivered to your room. We'll have the information. Just look for the LGBT Friends of Dorothy meetup. Even if you are straight, you can go to it, and it will be fine. Don't worry about it. Generally, the Friends of Dorothy meetup is in the piano bar, which is located between the ice bar and another bar. It's just one deck up over the casino, which is an open area. When you get on the ship, you'll see it right away. I just have to say this. That tended to be the center of gravity, that and the Spice H2O area on the back of the ship during the day. And those were the two sort of places that our listeners hung out the most. So if you're ever looking for people, it's probably in one of those two places. But honestly, it's a big ship. There's a lot to explore. You'll find other things to do while you're there. But that Friends of Dorothy meeting every day will be a good place to find people to have dinner with and that kind of thing if you have not already made other plans. As I mentioned before, you can book premium dining and shows online beforehand at ncl.com. You can also download before you leave, which I would recommend, the iConcierge app. It allows you to text with other listeners in our group while you're on the ship. It's very helpful. I think it costs $9.99 for the week. It can be very useful. But even if you don't pay the $9.99, you can book shows and premium dining on the app fairly easily while you're on the ship as well. So it's very useful. Just download it onto your smartphone before you get on the ship and it will be fine. There was a question about tenders. There is only one port where we use tenders. So if you haven't cruised before, most of the time the ship will just dock at a dock. And as soon as they open up the dock for people to get off the ship, people will disembark the ship. It's pretty fast. In Cannes, there is tenders, which means that there are boats to take you to shore. With the tenders, they hold, I can't remember how many people, let's say 100 people per ship. They're fairly big, but it takes a while to load people on and it takes a while to get them off the ship. I know people have shore trips, shore excursions that in Cannes that will require a tender. If you are one of those people and you are concerned about getting off the ship early, see me and Romaine when you get on the ship on that very first meetup day, and Romaine and I will talk to the ship about getting tender embarkations for the people who are getting off at Cannes to make sure you guys can get off in time for your shore trips excursion. So if you are a shore trips excursion person in Cannes, see Romaine and I about that when we get on the ship. Okay, the other ports, you shouldn't have an issue getting on and off. Even with the tenders, though, if you decide to just get off on your own in Cannes or in any of the ports, anytime that they say you can get on and off the ship, just head right on down to disembarkation and you can walk off the ship and walk around. Even in the tender ports, coming back on the ship, you can just head on back and you can walk right back onto the ship or get on a tender. The only time where there's a delay in getting on the ship is when the many excursions are coming back at the end of the day. So if you're cutting it close to the time that the ship is leaving, you might see long lines to get on a tender or get on the ship just because busloads of people are arriving. So if you're getting off the ship and just walking around, make sure you come back a little bit early to make sure you're not dealing with crowds, like that kind of thing. Somebody made a post about pickpockets. Obviously, there is crime everywhere. Just be aware, keep your cell phone and wallet in an enclosed, preferably zippered pocket. In a front pocket, not a back pocket, is probably for the best. And as always, be aware of your surroundings anytime you are anywhere. Now, after the cruise, the transportation options in Barcelona are the same as before the cruise. You can book from ncl.com transportation from the ship to the airport if you're leaving directly from Barcelona that day. Hello. I'm glad you love me trying to get all this information out. Okay. Let's keep moving. So anyway, so with the transportation, you can book to go to the airport direct through ncl.com. If you're making other transportation arrangements, you can look at that guide that is on the Better Off Med page at derekandromaine.com. It will have suggestions. Many people, Kim is asking about bringing a passport when you go on excursions. What I would recommend that you do is well, if you already have a passport and a passport card, I always bring my passport card and leave my passport on the ship just in case. But what you can do is you can make a Xerox copy of your passport and leave your passport behind on the ship. So if you get into any problems, at least they'll have your passport number and that kind of information. But follow the guidelines from NCL. If they tell you that you should take your passport on and off the ship, then you should do that. I know some ports you may need your passport to get on and off the ship, so just make sure that you follow NCL's guidelines, and vice versa. You can always make a copy of your passport and leave it on the ship in your room, and then take your passport or passport card with you, and then if you get into trouble, at least there's a copy of your passport that is waiting for you. Raimi says that he misses me. Girl, you know where to find us. We didn't disappear. We didn't die. Okay, we're kind of over time of how I wanted to do. Also, Disneyland. Many people are going to Paris after the cruise, and they are going to Disneyland. The before and after travel, other than the day in Barcelona, Derek and Romaine don't have anything to do with it. If you guys are going to other places, you can coordinate your travel with DNR Travel or with other Derek and Romaine listeners through the event page on Facebook. You can tell Romaine that you love her yourself. She has an email address, romaine@derekandromaine.com. Tell her you love her there, or on Twitter, whatever it is. Okay, so if you're going to Disneyland Paris after the cruise docks, coordinate your travel with other people. I know the video is getting shaky because I'm holding it with my fucking hands. All right, many people have asked about the short trips, shore excursions, and so I just wanted to let you all know basically how it works. So most of the shore excursions that we have met the minimum, and there are plenty of people going, and you've already gotten your confirmations. Some people are waiting for confirmations on some of the excursions. I posted a list of the excursions that are not yet full on the Better Off Med page at derekandromaine.com. So if you are looking at various excursions, there are a few that just need like 1 or 2 other people to join in, and then they will make their minimum. I listed them there. And so if you haven't gotten a confirmation yet, and it is one of those excursions, that's why. Feel free to tell everyone why you think this is a great excursion, and you can get a few more people. Some people have been nervous about booking because they think if it doesn't make the minimum, they'll have to pay the extra for the excursion without those people. We will just cancel that excursion if not enough people booked. So, if there are 6 people booked and it needs 8 people, it's kind of close, but no cigar. So if you're holding back, sign up for it and you'll probably get the minimum and then you'll be able to go. But you don't have to worry about being on the hook for an excursion that is not full. But anyway, there's really only a handful of those that aren't full. We did just recently add a full day excursion in Rome. Most people are doing the Vatican, but if you want to just do a Rome tour, they did just add that. That requires 20 people, not 8 people. I'm concerned about that making the minimum, but it just opened up for booking. So if you want to see Rome and you don't care about the Vatican, sign up for that shore excursion while you can. I know some people will be doing their own thing in Rome. There is a train that you can take from the ship to Rome. In talking to short trips, there's some concern that there might be a strike or in some other way that the train will not be operating. I don't know a lot about it. It's Italy, so things are real sketchy there. So I would just caution people that if you're just thinking about hopping off and getting on the train, that's always a possibility, but you also run the risk of there being some kind of local something and it not happening. So just keep that in mind. It's Europe and you never fucking know. Okay. Anyway, that is it. There is a, Renee says about dress requirements for St. Peter's for the Vatican and for some other places, especially the churches in Europe, if you're going to do any of those tours. They do have some dress code requirements in terms of, not wearing tank tops and flip-flops and your boobs hanging out and that kind of thing. So make sure that you look online for any dress code recommendations, especially if you're going to be going to any holy places. You might want to dress a little more appropriately. I know it will be warm, but there you go. All right. I hope I have answered all of your questions. You can download the itinerary in advance. It looks just like this. And look at everything there. If something is not on the Better Off Med page at derekandromaine.com, it probably is a question that can be answered by another traveler. For instance, Jeff had a question about floor seating at the Cirque Dreams show, if it was worth it to be up close or far away. Have no idea. Have never seen the show. That's the kind of question to ask other travelers who might have been on the Epic before, or just sit wherever you want. Things that are directly related about the cruise ship itself, about a particular excursion, any of those kinds of things, you should ask directly. If you have a question about the hotel, ask the hotel. If you have a question about the ship, go to the ship's website at ncl.com. For a lot of these kinds of questions, I don't have any more information than you do. So I would recommend that you direct your questions directly to the place to get it. While you are in Europe, make sure that if you have phone service, there's information about that on the Better Off Med page too, and you get into trouble, you will be able to use the cruise hotline to reach us. But let me just tell you something. This is very important. Please only use the cruise hotline to text in Europe for actual emergencies. Do not text me and say, I landed. I don't give a shit. And honestly, if you want to have a nice week with me, don't start off with nonsensy texts that I don't need. If there is an emergency, if you are stuck somewhere, if you can't get back to the ship after a shore excursion and you're worried about the ship leaving without you, if there is an emergency, then text the cruise hotline, and I may or may not be able to get back to you. This is like a last resort situation. This is not, oh, I just landed and I never looked on how to get to the hotel. What's the hotel address? No. The wrong time for that is the day that you land in Barcelona. So do all of that before you leave. But if you do have a genuine emergency, you can try to reach us through the cruise hotline. But again, it's Europe. I don't know if it's going to work. It really has to be a last resort situation. But I will try to have it on and try to have it available. But I cannot guarantee you'll be able to reach us. I assume everyone traveling is a grown adult person who can take care of themselves. We will try to help you if we can. But, this is your vacation. You got to make it your own. Have some personal responsibility for your own fun and travel. Okay, that is it. I hope you've enjoyed this live thing. If you have other questions that weren't answered in this video, you can post them below, and I will try to answer them, especially if it is a question that other people might have. And if all else fails, you can email me. I know I've been very don't email me, but seriously, if you really get that stuck, you can email me, Derek